In today's video, I'm going to be providing you with information about how to apply for the UK skilled worker visa in order to be able to work in the UK. And I'll be giving you a timeline of how long the different stages might take in order to be able to apply for this visa. And as well as if you are switching from a student visa to a skilled worker visa, I will provide you with information about how long this processing might take and what you should expect and documents you might need. Hi, welcome to Impact with Alice. On this channel, I provide you with information about scholarship opportunities, internship, job-related offers, and other opportunities that can help you to navigate your journey abroad. I'm Alice Esiola. In order to be able to come to the UK, there are several routes that you can take in order to come to the UK. However, in order to come to the UK to work, there is a specific route that you need to follow through. So what are the different types of visas that you can use to come to the UK? The first on the list is what is known as a visiting visa. A visiting visa allows you to visit a family or a friend, and this is valid for 6 months. And on a visiting visa, you are not allowed to work. However, some people usually take this opportunity to do some menial job, but if you are caught, this will significantly impact your entry to any other country because you would have committed a crime. The visa to come to the UK to work is known as the work visa. This visa could be a graduate visa, it could be a skilled worker visa, which was previously known as the Tier 2 visa, and as well as under the category of the one that allows you to work in the UK, there are several others that are created. There's what is known as global talents, so many of them. There is the study visa, which you can use to come to the UK, but these study visas allow you to come into the UK primarily to study. However, during your period of study, you're allowed to work for 20 hours, meaning per month you can work up to about 80 hours. So if you're working for something that pays you about, let's say £12 or £15 per hour, then you're able to get enough money to support your study during the study period. However, this is going to be challenging. It doesn't mean it's not possible. People in the past have done it, some are still doing it. It only means that while working and studying, it kind of brings too much pressure on you. However, you can do it. You are strong, and I'm sure you will come out even stronger. The third is a family visa, and this type of visa is for people that are coming to the UK to join their loved ones, meaning you are coming to join your spouse or a child coming to join the family that has been here. So that's the family visa. But the visa that we are going to be talking about today is known as the skilled worker visa, and the skilled worker visa allows you to come to the UK to do an eligible work. And by the word skilled worker, you can already see that it's placed emphasis on the type of job that has limited people to occupy them in the UK. So usually this type of work, this type of visas, it comes with some certain code. In this code, I'm going to be explaining to you a bit later in the video. But what are the eligibility for this particular skilled worker visa? In order for you to be able to apply to the skilled worker visa, your employer have to be a UK employer, and they need to be approved by the UK government. So they need to be able to have a sponsorship certificate. What I mean by sponsorship certificate, it means this particular employer is registered with the UK to be able to bring in foreign experts. The third requirement for the skilled worker visa is that it has to be on the limited occupational jobs, on the limited occupational list, meaning there are limited number of people that they can recruit from inside the UK, and that's why they are bringing in foreign experts to occupy these jobs. And the fourth requirement is that particular job, it needs to meet the minimum salary for the jobs that are listed. These jobs I'm going to be showing you on the government.co website how to find the list of jobs that are on the limited occupational list and the minimum salary that job needs to be able to award to the employee in order to qualify as a limited job. What are the shortage occupations in the UK that qualifies for the skilled worker visa? As I've already mentioned, what the eligibility are for this skilled worker visa, you can see here that there are occupation codes that are assigned. There is the 1181 code, which is associated with health service and public, which is associated with health services and public health managers and directors. And you can see that the minimum salary have to fall in the range of 30,700 per annum. That's before tax. And there is the residential day and domiciliary care manager. If you want to know if the job you're applying to is on the shortage occupation list, just go to the government.co website, search on this code, because when you're applying, this code is vital. When you're applying for the visa, there is a section during the visa application that will ask you that what is the SOC for the job you're applying to, and this is why you need this occupation code. You need to check which one relates to what you're applying to. When I was applying for my skilled worker visa, because I'm going to be working within the university and I have a PhD, and I'm going to be working in research university, I needed the 2112 code, which falls under biological scientist, and that's the qualification that I have. So I did a PhD in biological sciences. So this code was what I input at the SOC column when I was applying for the skilled worker visa. So if you want to know more, please I'm going to put the link to this SOC in the description box so that you can check which occupation you're applying to and the code that is affiliated with that type of job and the minimum salary. I'm sure you'll be wondering that what if you find a job in this category but has a lower salary compared to what is on the government website? That's going to be a problem. It is either you negotiate with your employer to increase the salary to the minimum threshold that has been listed on the government website, or you apply to a different job that will pay you more. If the minimum salary is not met by your employer, the sponsorship certificate will be rejected, and therefore you cannot be able to apply for the skilled worker visa. So now let's discuss the documents that you need in order to apply for the skilled worker visa. The first is your certificate of sponsorship. If you just receive a job offer, please give yourself enough time to be able to apply for your visa, and do not panic, because the first step in order to be able to the steps to applying for the skilled worker visa is like on a 3 to 4 steps, I think, because the first is the job offer which you've gotten, right? And congratulations on getting yourself a job offer. The second step now is for your sponsor, is for that employer to get you a certificate of sponsorship. The certificate of sponsorship usually costs the employer around £1,000 or £1,500. That will be paid by the employer, and this employer needs to submit the application to the government's website. And normally these steps takes about 2 to 3 weeks. In a very slow situation whereby your employer did not submit the form for the certificate of sponsorship, then it's going to delay the application process, because it means it might take as long as 4 weeks, especially if they don't fill the form correctly. And once they have been able to obtain the certificate of sponsorship, maybe about 2 to 4 weeks after your job offer, the third step now is before you move to the third step, which is applying for the visa, there is another step that is kind of in parallel with the certificate of sponsorship, and this is known as CAS. This is let me check the full name of CAS. So CAS is known as Confirmation of Acceptance for Studies. So for instance, if you just completed your studies in the UK, you need to first apply for the CAS, which is known as CAS, the Confirmation of Acceptance for Studies. So when your sponsor is applying for the sponsorship certificate, you are applying for the CAS, and this one normally takes between 4 and 6 weeks to get. If you're applying from outside the UK, let's for instance you also have completed some, let's say, professional exams or a professional license exams for that particular job you're applying to, you also need to apply for the CAS, because without the CAS number and the certificate of sponsorship number, you cannot submit your visa. So that is why you need to check depending on the type of job you're applying to. If you're applying for a kind of job as a healthcare worker, you might not need to submit a CAS number. And that is why I'm placing emphasis on this, because I have to wait for my CAS number in order to be able to then submit my visa application number. So the documents you need in order to be able to apply for the skilled worker visa is one, the certificate of sponsorship, which is going to be obtained by your employer. You can't do anything. They have to submit the form to the government and provide proof as to why they are employing you. And then the government will issue them with a certificate that, okay, now you can continue with your recruitment of this particular employee. Then you need a proof of English language. According to the government website, there are many types of proof that you can show for your application. IELTS, you can write TOEFL, you can write a standard, the secure English language test, which is known as CELT. You can use if you've written a GSCE, you can use this as proof of your English knowledge. If you've completed an higher education previously in English, you can use what is now known as ECTIS, which is like a certificate evaluation. You can use the certificate from the ECTIS to show as proof that you can speak English. And even using this ECTIS to show proof of your English knowledge, it's also going to cost you some tiny little money, because this certificate will not be given to you for free. And now that you've obtained your certificate of sponsorship, your English certificate or proof of English language, you need your passport. You cannot go anywhere without a passport, trust me. You can't go anywhere. That's why it's called international passport, because every country needs to stamp you in and stamp you out whenever you come in or leave the country. The third thing you need is your job title and annual salary. The reason why they're asking for the job title is because that's what is they will be documenting in the government, in the home office folder. They will document that this is the job you've applied to. And you need your job's occupation code. I told you earlier that the SOC is important for you to know. If you don't know how to check for the SOC, which is the job occupation code, in the description box you can find the link here that says check your SOC number here. And the last thing that you need is the detail of your employer. If you're able to get all this information on time and also write them out correctly, your visa application can take less than 3 weeks to be processed. But if you get anything wrong, then they keep sending you back and forth like, oh, please provide us with this, please provide us with this, and this normally then delay the visa application process. I applied within the UK and I got mine within 3 working days. I did not pay for priority or anything. I just made sure that I submitted all the documents correctly. I entered the detail correctly. You do not need an agent to apply for your visa. You can do it yourself, because the government website is there for you to follow through. If you're having problem understanding what documents is required for your skilled worker visa, please write in the comment section. I'm happy to provide you with some extra information. It might not be the best information, but I will link or reference whatever information I'm providing with you, because I have applied for the skilled worker visa and this didn't take me long. In summary for this video, to apply for your skilled worker visa, you need a job from a UK employer, and this UK employer need to be a licensed sponsor, and the job that they are offering you have to meet the minimum salary category. And after all this process has been, if you're able to get all this information right, the other thing you need is your COS, which is the certificate of sponsorship, right? If you've done an higher education, if you have an higher education certificate, you might be required to submit what is known as CAS, which is the certificate of acceptance of studies, meaning you've studied. They would want you to demonstrate that you've not studied anything that can cause harm in the UK, like maybe making bomb in previous studies or things like that. That's called what CAS is, like a safety assessment. And once you have your CAS, that certificate, the certificate of sponsorship, you have your SOC number, you have your passport, you have your employer details, you have the job title, you have the salary amount, you are good to go. And after you've submitted your application, if you're applying within the UK, the government website will provide you with detail of where to go for your biometrics. If you already live in the UK for more than 2 years, you do not need to go there. You might not need to go for biometrics. All I did was for me to scan my previous resident permit with a particular app that the Home Office recommended. This just placed over my BRP, and it's read in chip detail because the card has a chip that's easily read by that app. And I took a photo, and that was it. 3 days later, my resident permit was with me. If you're applying from outside the UK, then you need to then go to TLS website. The UK government uses TLS, be it in Nigeria, in Germany, or wherever you are. I remember that I used TLS when I was in Germany to be able to come to the UK. So definitely then go to the TLS website and book an appointment to submit your documents and also to take your biometric details. And if everything goes well with the appointment, within 4 to 6 weeks, you should be able to get your documents. I wish you all the best and see you in my next video. Bye!